which is rent. She pays rent to a bank instead of a landlord and calls it ownership because that is the vocabulary she was handed. The old rule said 5 years to break even on transaction costs. At today's rates, analyses across the 50 biggest metros put it closer to 10. Julie is moving in 4. Now, you are thinking, but Nick, homeowners are richer than renters. And you are right. They are. I hate to be the bearer of complicated news, but not because housing is a great asset. Because a mortgage is a savings plan you cannot skip, it freezes your housing cost against inflation, and it eventually ends, which is worth an enormous amount when you are 70. Renters who invest the difference beat owners. Renters who do not, lose, and most people do not. So that is a real argument for buying. A behavioral one, not a financial one. Just not the argument anybody made to Julie. Which brings us to Andrea, who does the most responsible looking thing in this video and pays the most for it. Andrea has her $50,000 and a note on her phone. A list of price targets, levels where she will buy in. She has been updating it for 2 years. She is not lazy and not scared. She is careful. Careful is what costs her. All-time highs are not a warning light. They are the resting state of a functioning market. Since 1950, about 7% of trading days closed at a record, and in the 2020s, closer to 12, and the returns from them are insultingly normal. Since 1928, the median one-year gain after an all-time high is 9.6%. After a day that was not a record, 9.5. 9.6 versus 9.5. That is your penalty for buying at the top. There isn't one. Vanguard ran lump sum against dollar cost averaging from 1976 to 2022. Investing everything at once won about 68% of the time, and both destroyed what you are doing right now, holding cash. But here's what Andrea's note cannot account for. The market's best days live inside its worst months. Ned Davis research found roughly 76% of them happen during a bear market or the first 2 months of a new bull. The good days hide inside the bad ones. So waiting for calm guarantees you are in cash when the money gets made. Andrea is not waiting at the bus stop. She is standing where the bus already left, checking the schedule. Over the 30 years ending 2024, an investor who missed only the 30 best days dropped from 8.4% annualized to 2.1. 30 days out of roughly 7,500, her 50,000 earns the FDIC National Average Savings Rate 0.38%. 10 years of that is about 51,900. 10 years at 7% is about 98,000. Her caution costs $46,000. And she will never see it. No statement mentions it. Opportunity cost is the only expense in your life that arrives with no receipt and no one to be angry at. And now, let me turn on my own industry, because there is a number that has frightened Andrea for a decade and does not survive contact. You have heard that the average investor earns 2.9% while the market makes 10%. That is a Dalber study people have quoted since roughly the Obama administration. The problem is the arithmetic. Wade Pfau reverse engineered it and showed it compares somebody investing gradually against a benchmark that got all its money on day one. Michael Eadie was blunter. He said the math is wrong. And Dalber's current numbers? For 2025, the average equity investor earned 17.16% against the index's 17.88, a gap of 0.72 points. Not 7, 0.72. Behavior gaps are real, they are just not biblical. And the biblical version was sold to you by people who charge a fee to stand between you and it. By the way, I opened a school community where I break this stuff down properly the way I would if we were sitting across a table, and where I show you how to build income that does not depend on your employer's mood, even if you are starting from zero. The link is below. Back to it, because that fee is not small. That fee is the third door in the vault. The myth is that a professional picking your investments beats a dumb index fund you could buy yourself. And the evidence against that is so lopsided it is almost rude. S&P's SPIVA scorecard found 79% of large cap active funds lost to the S&P 500 in 2025. And across 22 categories of American equity funds over 15 years, the number where most active